We've seen it in countless books, TV shows, and movies, the struggle for a hero to resist falling to the dark side. Sometimes they may stray away, sometimes they fall victim and overcome it right at the last moment. Today we are going to discuss how the darkness has corrupted characters in the Destiny universe in the past, and what it means for our Guardian now that we have begun to wield Stasis in the darkness for ourselves.
We take our first breath with no memory of who we were before. Yet, we are inexorably drawn to the light. We fight. We die. And we live again. But the day may come when we will be tested, when all we hold dear is threatened. And then we will see what each of us is truly made of.
Since the Traveler first arrived and began rising warriors of hope to defend it, and also people began to reside beneath it, we became aware of what this light was. A sort of power that disperses itself from the Traveler and heals, gives new life, and is a mystery to many.
In its dying breath, the Traveler created the ghosts to seek out those who can wield its light as a weapon. Guardians to protect us and do what the Traveler itself no longer can.
The light has guided us on many journeys. We used it to defeat the Black Heart in Destiny 1, we used it to kill Oryx, the House of Wolves, many Vex gods. And for a long time it seemed that the light was the only way to go, the only path that would lead us to victory. Good people would use the light and the bad people would use the darkness.
These Guardians show us what we are, what we have always been, and what we will be again. We are what remains of the light.
But with recent events over the last couple of years, our Guardian is slowly being consumed by the darkness. Let's first take a look at how the darkness has rooted itself in other Guardians and converted them into madness. Our first example is the Shadows of Yore. So this is one of the most notable stories you probably go straight to when you think of this type of thing. It's the tale of Rezyl Azzir becoming Dredgen Yor. Rezyl Azzir once defended the settlements and camps of the first people that made their way under the Traveler. He fought in many battles like the faction wars and also slew a bunch of Fallen in the name of protecting this city that was being built. So pretty much a normal Guardian, but one day he began having these strange nightmares and eventually found his way to the moon. Here he would fight off some hive, get stuck in the Hellmouth for some time, and then become corrupted by the darkness and the hive influence. This would cause him to abandon his name Rezyl Azzir and take one more of us are probably used to, Dredgen Yor, a ruthless villain that would burn down entire villages, kill innocent people, and even part ways with his own ghost. I mean, what kind of Guardian does that? So there's lots of darkness swirling around Dredgen Yor for sure, and also the Shadows of Yore. We experienced some of that a while back with the Season of the Drifter and all of that stuff, and those stories are definitely some of Destiny's best, in my opinion at least.
I know you all keep tabs on me.
Yeah, you've been straying. You don't even use his name no more.
Well, that's why I'm still breathing, brother. Gambit is a chance at salvation. Take it.
But what about some other examples and some other stories? Let's next talk about Kentark 3. So I haven't read this whole story yet, but apparently it goes like this. A fire team of Guardians went into the Black Garden or somewhere around the Vex network and also became corrupted, seeing visions of what might happen in the future involving Callus and some other things. They began to question the light and how things have been previously. This is from the Ancient Gospel Hand Canon. It says this: "These forces have existed forever, but only one of them speaks to us." The fire team would then decide to turn to the other side in the darkness and be rewarded with its gifts. Now keep that in mind, they decided to go to the darkness and they got some gifts. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But some believe that some of these members did turn back to the light and could still possibly have a chance to, be a good guardian. But this again is another example of the darkness's corruption, and it can happen in many places. We saw first there with Dredge and Yor on the moon, and here in the Black Garden or somewhere with the Vex. Third, we have Aramis. This is a pretty easy one. Aramis was trying to rebuild a new fallen home here on Europa with Reese reborn. Reese, of course, was the fallen homeworld that the Traveler departed a long time ago, leaving it in ruin, an apocalyptic wasteland, and the Fallen were pretty angry about that. So Aramis here and the Fallen wanted to rebuild a new home on Europa and began to use the darkness. She believed it was the only way to have revenge on humanity and create a new life for themselves with this new power.
Aramis, old friend. These powers, they create chaos. They are changing you. This.
Cling to your machine god.
During and before the events of Forsaken, we witnessed the corruption of Aldrin Sov. As he would blindly search for Mara's call on the Tangled Shore, which was actually Riven and Savathun's works, he became more and more consumed by the darkness. You can even see it in the cutscenes with these effects on his face. This stuff here also stems from previous events where Fikro became corrupted and the two went on a rampage with the Scorn. So yes, Aldrin was a pretty bad dude in that expansion, rightfully so, but he was corrupted and not himself to his usual extent. He still wasn't really the nicest guy like we saw in Destiny 1, but he may not have been this bad thanks to this corruption. And then the big one here, we have the Ruinous Effigy, which was actually a gift from the darkness itself to us, trying to sway us to their side. The lore tab tells us that this weapon is cold to the touch, and Zavala of course doesn't want us to go anywhere near it. The sort of alarming part though is that our Guardian is blind to this cold effect. They don't really notice it like Zavala does when he touches the weapon, and also this thing straight up eats away at your light when you use it. They talk about, hey, maybe it's using your light, and they say no, it's actually eating away at it. So this is essentially the forbidden fruit gifted by the darkness to our Guardian, and we took it. We then jump up to the events of Beyond Light, and it looks like it worked, didn't it? We now wield the darkness with Stasis, and this could just be the beginning. Will we be able to control these powers like Ghost and so many others hoped we could, or will we fall to the dark side and struggle with this new gift? Next year's expansion is named Lightfall, and you can speculate on that title in a couple of different ways. Maybe Lightfall means the Traveler's fall, something happens to it, or another way, our light falls itself or disappears. What if the darkness is all that's left? Perhaps we will be forced to try and contain our Guardian, which is infected with darkness, to save what remains of humanity. Is the light even there anymore? Now, in my opinion, this is an easy plotline for Bungie to take and run with, and they possibly have been setting it up for a while now. The good guy comes to the dark side or dips their feet in to see what the power is like, but get consumed by the dark and can't control it. Will they fall or will they rise and overcome this new challenge? And another big question, has this process already started for our Guardian? It appears it has. With the gift of the Ruinous Effigy, we banked Motes of Darkness and we took the power of Stasis. Something to keep an eye on for sure. Anyway, Guardians, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see some others just like it, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.